As from now on a commie, and you are a fucking commie. Don't like that, give me a notice and fuck off.
Welcome. This is No Crying in the Coolroom. This is a chef industry podcast. I am Tim Kershaw, chef, comic, filmmaker, and with me, as always, Lachie Sheridan.
Hello.
Over there, chef, content creator, we might say food influencer sometimes.
Full flog, yep.
And we are sitting in Shirley's. This is a brand new restaurant opening in Fremantle, Perth, Australia. And with us is the owner, Kenny McHardy.
Hello, how you
sitting
doing?
right there. Michelin star grunt worker, restaurateur, owner, head chef of Manuka Woodfire. This guy knows it all. He's the boss.
Good bloke as well. I'm going to throw in good bloke.
And an absolute legend. An absolute legend opening up a new restaurant as we speak right now. How's it going, Kenny?
Yeah, it's going good. It's going good. I'm already thinking about the 100 things I got to do straight after this. Nah, it's going all right, mate. It's second time round. You know, it's I wouldn't say it's any easier, but you learn a few things along the way to make your life a bit sort of more like less challenging.
Yeah, you're doing all the labouring yourself.
Man,
like a true chef would.
We're in a labour shortage right now, and and even if we weren't, they overcharge anyway. So you know, it's you do it yourself. You stuff it up, you fix it, you stuff it up again, and it still probably costs you less than getting a labourer and to do it. You know,
but plastering is like so close to baking a cake anyway.
Yep, plastering.
Not far off.
It's all prep work, you know, as the old man always said. It's like painting. It's the prep work, eh?
Do you use a palette knife when you do it?
Do you know what? I've actually
Here we go, yeah.
not just the palette knife. Hey, I go steal all the stuff from Manuka and the guys are got to come over and find the scales and a whisk, you know, and all that sort of stuff. But it's here somewhere. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, because you don't do any
in a
of
bucket,
that.
Yeah.
You do the labour work with kitchen tools just because you feel more comfortable about it.
Man, 100%. I actually, with no word of a lie, there's a Kiwi knife in my kitchen right now, which I'm using to just flick off the last little bits of before I sand it back.
You're just shaving things off with it.
Man, it works perfectly.
Can you still buy Kiwi knives, yeah?
Mate, I think we inherited it from some shit kicker that came in to do a trial or something like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like just left their knife. You know,
they just used to be like the $3 knife you buy, and they would last for a week, and you just buy another one. Yeah,
they were so sharp to start with.
And they were the perfect choppers for like herbs or chives or
they never go blunt, right?
No,
never go blunt.
No,
but
you can bring it back real quick.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They're a soft metal, and you know, I think for chives, that sort of stuff, they have a place. Yeah.
How is your chive game?
I need a new one. Yeah.
I just delegate now, man. I don't fall for that trap anymore.
Well, you don't want to get in there and show them who's boss.
Oh, look, you know, there's always a time and a place, and I expect perfect circles. I don't want any of the sides of the inside of the chive to stick together. You know, that's just and no noise. I don't want to hear a single noise of your knife cutting through. No, I was, I don't know, I think I might have even said it to you a while ago when we were having a chat about, working, for the man and that sort of stuff and overseas. And I remember walking into this restaurant in the UK, and it was about, my first job was cutting chives, and I was just cutting away. And this first year apprentice, man, he'd probably only been cooking for 3 months, and I'd been cooking for about 10 years at that point. He just flew off the handle at me. He's like, fuck, if chef sees this, we're going in the trouble. And he was showing me, and it was like that first day, I'm like, man, this kid, he's 17 years old. Yeah. I'm 25, and he's actually teaching me something that was actually of vital significance.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty cool.
And then you told him to go fuck himself.
No, I didn't. No, it actually just made me realise where I was at, actually, to be honest. There was a nice little, but it was also a nice recognition of the surroundings I was working in. I was working with professionals. Yeah. All of a sudden, I'm like, so these guys are the bee's knees.
We talked about in the last podcast, Jared, that when he was working somewhere young, and then he worked at a 2 Hat for free, starged, and then went, oh shit, this is the difference. Is that everyone is a professional? Yeah, and that was my experience we related on that. That was my experience as an apprentice. Is that I had a trial at one place. I didn't know if this was good or bad. And then I went to this place I ended up working at, and then went, oh shit, everything mattered. The way you picked up something, the way you sliced something, the knife you used to slice that. Everything mattered. But also the chefs around you like that. They're keen on teaching you because they don't want to show you again. They don't want to have so when in my case anyway, once I had the knowledge of why I'm doing something, or why I should be doing something a different way from why I'm doing it. That's just what it is.
That's like your
and then
job.
it teaches you a fucking love of everything. It teaches you love of the fish that you got. It teaches you why you need to check the veg. It teaches you everything. Check it off. Yeah.
It's a smart tool. And
Yeah.
like you say, it doesn't come overnight. Sometimes
No.
it's not even shown to us for years and years and years.
Yeah.
But when you do see it and it does, it
just clicks,
registers. You definitely notice that it's like, I don't know. It's almost like a new door just opened. And it's a pretty cool thing to sort of be part of. I agree. I went through my sort of
It's never
first
left
10
me
years.
either. It's
No,
never.
I think once it's there, it's there. Like
Yeah.
it's always there. It's part of your DNA that just stays with you forever after that.
Yeah.
And that's where you start treating every item. It's not just like, you don't just treat a cos lettuce any differently to
Yes.
a steak or a lobster.
That's it.
Everything gets treated with the same amount of care. And
Yeah.
and if you can surround yourself with people that are feeling the same way as you, then it's
the
a good
aggression
buzz.
comes from respecting produce at some point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're like, now the chefs at these good places are bringing in good produce. It's not just a veg guy. There's like 5 different guys. And then now you know the guy. They tell you the stuff and then you get excited about it.
Yeah.
And if you're just like cutting lamb up and like throwing scraps,
Yeah.
it kills a good chef. Because
Yeah,
you're like, dude, that
definitely.
was an animal. We can't waste this. This guy's
Yeah.
put all his effort into
It's
growing
also,
it.
it's also like the type of food you're using or the type of produce you're using acts better. Like once you start cooking it, you're like, it's fucking, and then you use shit produce or something that hasn't been hung long enough, or they're just giving it to you for cheap. You realize it doesn't cook, it doesn't caramelize, it doesn't, like, why are we even doing what we're doing? You can see the mistreated everything from vegetables all the way down.
Oh, completely. It's
Yeah.
like the old man pouring beer over your steak to
Yeah.
make it taste better. And I was like, no, it's fucked.
Yeah.
It's not going to taste good.
Yeah.
That beer is just wasted.
That's
like,
a New Zealand thing. We
Oh,
don't do that
man.
in Australia, bro.
It's like boil in a bag, but it's boil on the grill. You can just see this grey bubbles of
Yeah.
protein coming out of you. But this rum, you got to remember.
You just made the barbecue plate taste better.
It's just brought the whole
We're gonna
temperature.
grill it and steam it.
Yeah, and Dad's wondering, like, he's now putting kerosene on it because he's put the thing out. And,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mum's like,
keeps
when's dinner ready? Yeah.
He just keeps pouring shit on. That's his move.
and yet everything still comes out burnt. It's just like, barbecues now compared to we're all around the same age. Like, barbecues growing up as a kid were basically a necessity and a tool for Dad to get drunk, right? You know what I mean? Like, this is where
one
Dad
day a
would
week he
hang
was
it.
allowed to just get absolutely slaughtered out the back. Yeah.
No dishes for Dad because
Yeah.
he cooked.
Don't dare say all this is burnt.
Yeah. No. They can do it tomorrow when it's cold and
Yeah.
I just remember getting those lamb chops out of the fridge in the morning and they were like
So true.
finding it because they look like they've been confit and burnt fat. You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
and then you're eating them and then
true.
the layer of them in your top of your
charcoal?
mouth. Yeah. Tomato sauce, it didn't fix it. Like
So
juice,
true.
So you're just stuck with this fatty lamb taste for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
It's like
Is New Zealand barbecue any better than Australian barbecue?
because
we got
New
shit.
Zealand barbecue. No, look, I think we do a lot more sort of like maybe seafood and stuff, perhaps. But this is just me personally. When I say we, I mean my family. Like we'll just go down and get some mussels, throw them on a fire. You know what I mean? Get some tuatūas, throw them in a bucket of water. Tomorrow we'll throw them on the fire. That sort of thing. So I don't know. I think I think New Zealand and Australia as a whole have sort of come up together and sort of I think it just came down to, like you said before, Lachie, about good produce.
Yeah.
You're starting with good produce. It's
Coal snags, get them in there.
oh mate.
2 white onions.
Yeah.
Had that.
Yeah, done. Couple of hot dog rolls and that's it.
Yeah.
But that's who's
Yeah.
going to argue with that? I'm not going to.
Neither.
Nah, that sounds pretty good actually.
I
Yeah,
just
to be
find it
honest.
so egregious that Australia, like when I was a kid, everyone in Australia was like, well, Australians do the best barbecue. Something special is going to happen. Let's have a barbecue. And then I went to places like Argentina
Yeah.
where they
Yeah.
fucking display a whole lamb on these wicked things and then just like crank it next to the fire.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's a barbecue
That's
right
an
there.
art, right? It's
Yeah.
an art piece. I think that's something that's been continued. I think Australia and New Zealand have probably, I think, if you put us in the scheme of things around the world, we're kind of apprentices, really, like when it comes to barbecue.
Yeah.
We're still learning and we're adapting. But the cool thing is we get to adapt everyone else's skills, you know what I mean? And make it ours. We can hybrid it. We can take a bit of American
We're
barbecue.
fucking allowed.
Yeah.
You do that in France, like when I went in France, that was it. Don't say anything else other
Yep.
than this. It was the 10 grams of salt for the fucking leg or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck? What if I just put soy sauce on there? Master stock? What? You know what I mean? Like,
I've seen,
but at least here you can go.
Yeah.
You can use all those skills.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a little
so
bit of
true.
Japanese.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think, but look, I've got 3 girls. You've got a girl.
Yep.
You've got a boy, and a couple of stepkids as well. My girls don't care about the barbecue. They don't want to know how it goes, how it works. They just want their dinner.
Yeah.
That's it. So it's kind of like, even with whatever knowledge I've got, like, who do I get to pass this on to? No one wants to absorb that information. Yeah, maybe later.
Yeah.
Maybe when it's their turn to drink piss and sit around the barbecue. I don't know.
Yeah.
It might change, but it's kind
Yeah.
of like it's.
But what about, like, now you've got 2 restaurants. What about the apprentices? What about the people that you're bringing up and training? Are you finding that they're into the things that we're talking about now?
Oh man, I am. Look, honestly, I'm the luckiest person alive right now with the staff that I've got. I've got 3 chefs that have just recently qualified with us, and mate, and I'm so proud that what they're doing is now sort of taking what they've learnt from me, using their tools that are available to them, like like Instagram, for example. You can see like Ron McKinley, like in Canoe, and in Canada, doing these wicked saddles, and then they're going, look, can we try this?
Yeah, yeah.
Mate, of course you can try this. The menu changes today. Like,
That's
let's
very
change the
cool.
menu.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to know that these, we've had to sort of weave our way through, and people have sort of gravitated to me, and I've gravitated toward them, sort of thing. And yeah, we just got this nice little bond. This kitchen used to be just me, and now there's like 8 chefs on the roster now, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And every one of them does not want to let the other person down. So it's cool. It's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah, when we're cooking barbecue and all that, mate, it's like, bring it on, guys. Let's see what you got.
Do they see it how we saw it? Like, because we didn't have MasterChef and Gordon Ramsay was really only starting when we were all kids. And you even worked for those guys, right? And Main Wearing and Wearing and stuff. Do these young kids see it the way we saw it, or is it like much more of like I can get famous, I can get big, and
I don't have those sort of chefs in my kitchen, to be honest.
they just want to cook?
They just want to cook. It's their template to their little bit of freedom. Well, I'm not saying I haven't had those sort of chefs come through. I'm just lucky right now, as it stands.
Yeah.
I'll probably walk out here today and someone's called in sick or something.
Have you-
just
you
to
have-
fuck everything up? But
You've had people come through who are like trying to take photos of everything, and they're not like really getting their job
100%.
done.
That's where I got the Kiwi knife from. That person's no longer with us anymore, but I've got this knife. So
They were like chopping and trying to like film it at the same time.
Yeah. And just like, I had a guy taking photos of everything out of my recipe book, man. It's like, hey, bro, bring up your phone, man. Delete that shit.
yeah.
That's not a given. Like, you don't just walk in on, this is on a trial. This is the guy didn't even have the job.
On trial, he was taking the recipe book in front of your face?
No,
Sneakily.
one of my chefs told me, and I was like, I just went straight up. I was like, mate, bring it out, dude. Like, this is not how we do this.
Yeah.
If you get the job, you're going to learn the recipes regardless.
We were chatting about this a couple of weeks
Just
ago.
came up with Jared.
And I was like, oh, that's all right, because I would learn them anyway, and I would kind of adjust them. And I was
Correct.
going to get
Yeah.
sick of them.
Yeah.
And I think I would do a better job in adjusting myself anyway, the new venue. But on a trial, you just,
Egregious.
what are you doing tomorrow is my thought.
Yeah, correct.
Why are you here?
You weren't really here for the right reasons.
No way.
Yeah. If you think the
Yeah.
recipe book is going to solve your problems, you're in trouble as well.
Exactly. Why don't learn how the fuck they do this?
We can all get
The
the
recipe's a recipe, dude.
Yeah, they're all there, and
Yeah.
like they're not sacred, if you know what I mean. But I think there's like a bit of a code of like
Yeah, of course.
loyalty first.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
now here you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
there has to be some kind of chef code,
Yeah,
right?
definitely,
Because
yeah.
we are in an industry of training.
Yeah.
And that's what I was asking about the apprentices. We're training people, and there's like a transfer of something. You listen, you respect. I'll show you,
Yep.
and you'll get better, and then you'll have a skill to go and do something.
Yeah.
Because if you come in and you just say, "Oh, give me everything. I don't have to give anything in return," go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
eh?
If
it
you
doesn't last.
think 14 recipes is going to make you something, you're
Yeah.
insanity.
Yeah.
You're fucking insane.
Yeah.
You learn that. If you learn those 14 recipes, then leave.
Well,
You know what I mean?
That's the
Like
thing.
at the very minimum.
Yeah, learn
Because
them
like
inside
you don't
and
know
out.
shit with the rest
If it
printed on the
stops,
page.
starts and stops there,
Yeah.
like then that's. I mean, to be fair,
You can
who
do-
writes a recipe book and puts every detail in it
Exactly.
anyway? Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
There's always things that
You
you're
know,
going to
100
learn.
grams is like 10 at some point somewhere. You're like,
Yeah.
oh fuck,
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Or you know, like, oh no, wait, you need to tell the person. Or yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
We
bread
had
those
this,
are classic.
we had
It's also
this
the oven you're
real.
cooking it in. It's everything.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
We had this real old chef when I was working in a fish restaurant who used to leave off the most important part, the most important ingredient on his recipes because he was
Yeah.
a prep chef. He didn't
Like
want anyone
fish.
to take his job. It's like such an old school mentality, dude. It was
I
hilarious.
don't mind that. I actually
Yeah.
don't mind
Yeah,
that.
it was
at all.
great.
Yeah.
And then like you'd just be watching him because you wanted that one extra ingredient. It was always Dijon mustard, by the way.
Dijon mustard. Yeah, nice. Yeah, that brings a bit of that balance, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually would like rather. I'd respect that more than anything else. You're
Yeah.
like, okay, cool.
It was
You can
wicked.
have it. Yeah, yeah,
It wasn't
he's-
like the sweat of someone's, like towel wringing out or
Yeah,
anything like that.
Extra, yeah, salt or whatever. He had this like very English pepper sauce, and no one could nail it. And it was like the biggest thing on the menu. Like everyone would come in for the pepper sauce. It was fucking Dijon mustard the whole
Oh
time.
my god! I thought you were gonna say like demi-glaze powder or something
Yeah,
like
that's what I
that. But
thought.
like,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that though.
It was
but
the
yeah.
Dijon.
Yeah, it's
on the-
interesting. It's you just get that old school mentality, and like you say, it's protecting your worth, protecting your job. I get it, totally get it. But yeah, it is funny, and I don't mind that you're holding on to.
yeah.
And he'll probably anyone that really deserves to know the answer that it was Dijon. You know what I mean? He's probably looking for the right person to be able to pass on
Yeah.
that knowledge as well.
That's a
Yeah,
good
but
point.
you don't just give it up though. Like
Nah.
at the end of the day, in chefing, I guess people are learning skills so they can have a life.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a given that you'll just get everything and live your life.
You
Like,
also
it's
wrote
training.
them down. You physically wrote
Yeah.
them down. Like you fucking did
Had the
this.
pocket.
I
Yeah,
know,
had your little
like-
notebook. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it like frustrates me just to think of how I would even like if I was not even my kitchen if I saw that went fuck off, cunt.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
that's what that would
But
be
that's
my
right.
reaction.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's right. I mean, I just pulled up my first cookbook. It's
But I
like,
could remember recipes right now.
yeah, from the original
Yeah.
sort of how you made it.
Yeah.
And that's I think a fair sort of so that's how you've wanted to absorb it.
Yes.
That's about you, not
wanted
no one
to.
else.
Yeah.
No, not your chef in charge at the time.
Yeah.
You're the one that had the hunger to learn, right?
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And you reckon, I think everyone's recognized when they walk through the door, like there's that, if you're even on a daily basis, like, I look at the first contact all of my chefs make with me that day is the sort of what sort of attitude they're bringing for the rest of the day.
Yeah, totally.
And, and it's sort of like, that want. And sometimes I'm not shitting. I've made people walk out and walk back in again. Like, fuck off, mate.
Yeah.
Come back in. Say good morning to me.
Yeah.
Say good morning to the team. Let everyone know you're here and you want to be here.
Yeah.
Totally.
I've
storming
been in
around.
those positions a few times, and that was the perfect. That is so funny because I reckon when I was second and third year, walking in not even walking in, even mid shift, I remember being told to walk around the block.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Pull
would just
off.
do it, and it would actually be cool.
Makes a
because like at
difference.
least someone's like you would be angry walking out, like fuck you, right? But then by the time you get around the corner or figure out what the block is,
Yeah.
you
yeah.
come back around and go, there's nothing. None of this means anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're in your own head.
You need that. I actually do
Yeah,
think that.
but at least someone's
that's-
recognised in me that was it.
It was a necessity at the time.
And then
right?
you don't need a high five when you come back in.
Just get back to
Don't
it.
even acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you know what to do.
Yeah.
I got bollocked for scuffing my feet as a young apprentice.
Oh, dragging. Were
Don't
you wearing
fucking
Birkies
drag
though?
your feet. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well, there
think
you
so.
go. They're draggers anyway. So
Yeah, but he was like
half you, half the shoes.
He was right.
Yeah.
I was just scuffing around
Oh,
all
okay,
the
fair
time.
enough.
You know what I mean?
Just being heard.
Yeah, yeah. And I had the same thought. I remember, fuck this guy. It doesn't matter what I do with my feet, but it's so true. You're just like scuffing around, just like plotting along.
But you just another thing people have to sort of acknowledge if you're scuffing a bit more than other people. I
yeah.
suppose,
Don't bring a bad attitude to work.
Yeah.
Basically, though, everyone's in here. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that. Like, I sort of see it in a different light where, like, I think nowadays we've got the tools to recognize behaviors and patterns, etc. Whereas, like, that behavior would have been me going, "Hey, bro, like, let's just go and have a chat. What's up, man? What are you doing? Man, my mum's fucking pissed off with me. I didn't put my washing out or whatever. Blah, blah.
Yeah.
She didn't wash my whites last night. Whatever." But when we grew up, there was like, mate, I don't give a flying rat's ass about you, or you.
Yeah.
I just want to see food coming out of this kitchen. You know what I mean? So I think mentality-wise, we're probably a lot more sort of understanding that people do tend to get here, you know, perfect life, perfect chef.
Yeah.
You know, but if someone's got a problem at home or whatever it is, it's, you know, I think nowadays it's to be confronted and talking about, it's actually more of a normalized now, you know, like we held on to something and we had to hold it in, and then we had to hold it in for 15 whole hours, you know?
Yeah. And then you've got like, what, 8 to deal with it when no one's awake?
Yeah.
So it's like,
the worst, right?
Yeah, so I remember that. But I mean, even when we started this, I told Tim, like the 4th time we ever chatted to each other like this, I was like, this is actually helping me a lot.
Therapy, eh?
Yeah, but it wasn't like meaning to. And we're not doing this for any other reason that we just found we like to chat to each other about hospo and stuff.
That's the first chat
we
just
was
had.
like, whoa. Yeah.
Yeah. We were sitting eating chicken
Unlocking
wings.
something.
We're just talking
made me
about
feel
stories or something,
Yeah.
and then it was like, oh, this person has like a similar kind
It
of
wasn't
like
even about us at
understanding.
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't even about us.
I had one.
we're all-
I had one happen this week. Actually, I was like at the traffic lights, and I look over, and there was like a siren very far off, but a lady had stopped in the middle of a green light, and a dude just came right up the back of her and just smacked right into her. And I just looked over, watched the whole thing. Nothing peaked, didn't panic. No issues. I just went, car crash. That guy's going to have to get out, talk to her, fix this, do that.
Yeah,
and then I just went, brrr, and I drove on. And as I was driving, I was like, bro, I've got some issues.
You just
dude.
did your mental mise en place. You're
Yeah.
like, no, this is like, I'm
I
out.
just had a list of 5 things that guy needed to do.
Yeah.
Nothing, no panic, no blood pressure spikes or anything.
Yeah.
And I just cruised on. Everyone else was kind of like, should I drive or not drive? Like, there's
Yeah.
an accident over there. And I was
You
just like,
started to categorize how to fix this burnt
like,
steak.
You'd already
I
like,
have a
you just
massive
stop
issue.
time and
Yeah.
you just process the whole thing.
Yeah.
No one's moving. You're like, nah, fuck this, I'm out.
How
Yeah.
calm is
See
it?
you
Because
later.
I get that calm too. I get like unnecessarily calm when there's so much shit going on. Like if
Yeah.
a bomb went off over there, we'd all just go.
I'd prep
right,
list it.
So that
Process it. Eh?
yeah, you'd
I
be like,
agree.
they guys are fucked.
I'd probably
What about
get
these
down.
guys? Is
Yeah.
a bomb going off? It would just be like,
Yeah. There
But I
might be a
get
shockwave
calmer.
coming. I'll go lower and then I'll get up.
I get scarily calm.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I thought
I'm the
like,
same
fuck,
as
I've
well.
got like it's a learnt thing, but I got this thing where like I haven't got a panic button.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
you do,
Yeah.
but there's like I think when the extreme happens, because I think it's because you've seen so much extreme every day.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
you've seen
I think it's
Yes.
part of you as well. Like, I
Yeah.
definitely think it's, you know, part of who we are. It's
I
that
think it's
fight
two
or flight
things.
sort of-
So like
yeah.
maybe you become a bit,
I
you
don't
can
think
become
it's
more
learnt.
successful as a chef because you've already kind of got
I think
that.
it takes a
reckon.
certain
I
person.
tribute.
But, you know, like, we can deal with the big stuff, and then, like, you stub your toe, and you're like, you
Yeah.
know, like, it's just like a mental breakdown. Like, that was actually really immature. You know, like,
Yeah.
But,
Or
the
like
big stuff, you
the
can deal with.
emotional stuff, like you're saying, like we can't process emotions, but we can prep list
It's
car
also
crashes.
like if you're carrying something and it starts to burn you, you just calmly find, even if you're like, you don't drop it. You don't drop it.
No.
Yeah.
But like the guy that drops it, I don't know if is he going to be a 15-year bloke? You know what I mean? Like it's, I think it chooses you as much as you choose it.
Yeah, I totally get that. I respect
Yeah.
that, absolutely.
There
Yeah.
must be a whole new type of chef now, though, right? If we're talking about apprentices, where they're passionate about cooking and they've come from a different angle. Like we were all like, I don't know. I feel like we were like physical grunt people who didn't want to go into offices and needed to use our hands and like enjoyed adrenaline and like we were just like rough people.
Yeah, pirates.
Yeah, exactly,
Absolutely.
pirates,
I don't know
100%.
now. Look, I kind of feel like growing up, there was always the right amount of restaurants. And this sounds probably a bit whacked out, but like for me, growing up, it was always, you always knew who your top 10 restaurants were. And they probably were the only 10 restaurants, if you know what I mean. But nowadays, there's just way too many food venues. Everyone needs a chef in their venue. So I don't even know where we're at now. I kind of feel like we're all lining up at the start of a big marathon, you know, like, and there's, you don't recognize a single person in that queue with you, but there's shitloads of you. You're all there and you all got the same goal. Some of you will make it, some of you won't, you know, but it's like, I just don't know where it's at.
That's so interesting. I've never thought about that either.
There's just so many.
Because when I started,
So
there was
many.
I can name 3. And we were one of the 3. That was it.
And you wanted to work there, right?
Yeah. And then, I mean, there was 4, but you knew from one of them that crew went to, or one of them and they built a crew, and then it sort of spidered from there.
Yeah.
And then you all sort of knew each other.
It's like a circle.
Yeah, like, oh, do you have a job? They sort of knew you were at wherever, and that was like how you sort of went about it in Perth. Anyway, I mean, I was out and in of Perth, but now, yeah.
Yeah, it's just too much to sort
It's
of...
crazy. I didn't even think about now.
Oh, don't ask me where to eat now.
100%
But if there's
right.
if there's all these places, who's writing the menus?
Yeah.
Is there just like 3 people who are just writing? Because there's another one just come up, Mother Around the Corner,
Sorry.
which I was the head chef at for a little bit.
Yes.
Is now a huge winery thing, right?
Yep.
So who's writing these menus for all these new opened restaurants?
Well, Gord Kale's come down there from the Heritage. He's
yeah.
there. Yeah, so he's back down this way. But probably not the best example. I know where you're coming from, though. It's exactly how I feel about
Who's writing?
going
There's
out
a
now.
pizza place, because if we just talk about Fremantle, there's 3, 4 in the last month
Yep.
that have just opened up. Who's writing that pizza menu and those
there's 3
recipes?
of us on this corner alone, like, all sort of about to open up. I mean, even the guys next door are expanding, and I think, I think I don't know. I kind of thought we're at this point now where sort of the whole Uber Eats sort of revolution starting to phase out. But I think we've gone to that point now where we don't want to cook anymore. Like we're just catching up to a lot of metropolitan cities around the world where going out and eating with your family in a local Italian restaurant is far easier for the family than it is to cook at home now. So, but I don't know when the handbrake's going to come up. I just don't know. It's an interesting time, eh?
Yeah.
It's going to be
when people don't have money.
I think so. I don't know. We pay a mortgage, man, and like, geez, the government, they stick it up their ass. Like the the amount of money that we've had to lay down to just pay the extra, and then you get the the news headline, oh, we're finally making profit. We're coming out of the red, we're in the black. That's because of our hard-earned money, man. But only a small percentage of us, only people with mortgages.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we're in the same boat. Like, it was so just before all those. There were, what was it? I think we got 9 before we ended up fixing a fucking new rate, right? But 9 passed on interest rates for mortgage. We tried to. We were like, oh, just change banks. We get a cheaper one. They made it so fucking hard to do anything. As soon as that rate stopped, they were like ringing us. You're like, fuck off, man.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? You kind of feel like you're just a pawn in the game.
They all know, though. They all know. They all know what's happening.
I think you are a pawn in the game.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there's no, you can think otherwise, but and just got to sort of ride it out. I definitely find like, sort of at these times, it does put a little bit more pressure on people to, you can afford to eat out, but just not every night, sort of thing. But it's also, I don't know, I sort of struggle. I know when I'm going to a nice restaurant, I'm going to a nice restaurant. You're going to get good service, you're going to get good food, and you're going to feel like you've been able to take a moment out of your busy, hectic schedule and enjoy yourself, like you went out for dinner for your birthday. Below that, man, we're like, this is Pandora's box here. You know what I mean? Anything below that right now, I just don't know where it sits in the industry. It's if you're
people who can't cook at all, who need cheap, lazy food.
Yeah.
There's so many, I think we forget that people can't cook at all. So food is like a whole different idea to them. Like I was at the shop, like I used to just buy tzatziki because I'm like getting lazy because I'm so busy with stuff. And it just kept going up, $5, $7 for a 250 gram. I'm like, no, bro. I'm going to go buy the best sheep's milk yogurt that I can. Thank you for myself for the same price. And I'll fucking make it now, dude. But people don't have that idea. They just go, oh, yeah, tzatziki must be this like elaborate thing to make. And I have to pay $7 for the fucking thing.
It's crazy, right? And you're probably going to have 3 half-empty ones sitting in your fridge, ready to be thrown out. Yeah.
Do you know the other thing that I find incredibly interesting is people's understanding of when food goes off at home? Like every week I'm talking to my girlfriend or whatever, like just people think that like if a roast chicken is in the fridge for 3 days, it's off. Or whatever, you know what I mean?
Hit the panic button,
Yeah, because when I
whole fridge gets cleaned out.
Or whatever it says is what it means. Okay.
Well, they don't even they don't know that, like they don't check it. They're like, oh, 2 days in the fridge, it's over. And when I got into farming and then into fermenting, I was like, oh, My boundaries have gone way out, bro.
Oh man, fermented tomato sauce. Yeah, that bubbly
Everything
Napoli
is
on your
just
station
fermented.
is like it's good now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Nothing is off. Everything is fermented.
Yeah.
That's how I work.
Yeah, then you can't figure out why this one is better than the other one.
Yeah, 'cause
you're like, because you did throw it out.
Because nothing
4
is
days
like,
ago.
unless you're like a complete noob, most things aren't even dangerous.
No.
Yeah.
You know?
If
It's gotta be
anything, they need
cross-contaminated.
longer because they've been everything's been pasteurized.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or
Except
fridge.
cheeses. I used to sell cheeses. That was an absolute gold mine because it's like there's no use by on it.
Yeah.
It just isn't. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just shut up about it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it's either where it is along its life. Where do you want to choose it? You want to choose it when it's fresh. You want to choose it when it's
Yeah.
36 months.
yeah. Like I mean,
blah,
like
blah,
you're gonna wash a rind. Yeah, it develops.
Yeah.
Where do you want
Yeah.
it?
And
Like,
even
where do you
with
want
like
it?
So
a bit
true.
of mold on it or something, if it gets to a stage
Yeah,
where
but
like
do you want it?
hack it,
It'll
Yeah.
fuck. So I like that.
but people think
Yeah.
it's like if they see a bit of mold, they think, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die if I eat this thing."
Yeah, but the best thing restaurants can do here, because of the people don't know that shit, is buy it when it's cheap like that.
And age it yourself and just
Or just like, I mean, when it's past its, well, it's best before and use by. So if you got a cheese that's a best before, you can still sell it
Yep.
well over. If it's a use by, you actually by law got to chuck it in the bin. Like I used to sell like wash rinds way past their best before, like to restaurants for fuck all. Like
Yeah,
10% of their price.
And just super tasty, probably.
Yeah, way better. It's
Yeah,
actually
I
what
reckon.
you want.
that breeze breaking down. It's
Especially
gooey
like
and it's
Comte and
yeah.
shit. Nothing's happening in the middle.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah,
happening
yeah.
on the outsides. You just get rid of it.
It's just surface bacteria. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I used to love the old like blue cow truck would come around when I was
Yeah.
in Bunbury, you know, like and he'd pull out and he's like always had like the exactly what you just described.
Yeah.
There was like a basket of all the stuff that was like had to be probably 2 days later
Yep.
be thrown out. And like, you know, it felt like you're coming off just one lotto. You got this like blue cheese and like, yes.
Yeah.
I just not ripped him off, but I just got the deal of a century. But
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
it's just made my food costs come down that little bit. Like,
Oh,
you know,
what a good day.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, 100%. Yeah,
A special on high food.
Yeah, the customers
costing.
don't know it. Yeah, exactly.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you say, nothing wrong with it, man.
Nothing wrong.
It's actually.
But it-
yeah.
So when I know, okay, so when this cheese, I'm going to get into this. So when the cheese enters the country, it gets 21 days on it like that. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, right. Is that just the average?
No, there's
They
just
just say,
so it comes from. So I was involved doing the procurement from France and Spain to Australia, and also it gets shipped. So it just gets on a ship without a use by. It's just cheese at this point.
yeah, right.
It's just
okay.
fucking wheels of shit or whatever. And then it get, or unless they're soft cheese, they get flown in. The same thing. So they go all the way to Freo, and they go to Melbourne, Sydney, back to Melbourne. They get on a train to Perth. So all the cheese you get, that's how you get it.
Yeah, right. I
Nothing
didn't know
comes
that.
off in Freo, right? So, but as soon as it lands, it gets 21 days. It's just stamped. But that's your time clock started.
Oh, starting from that point.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant they.
So it doesn't
added-
matter what the cheese looks like. No one looks at it. They just go like it's dairy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
21 days to sell it.
Yeah.
yeah, before you have to throw it in the bin.
Yeah. No.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah. So you just really manipulate that.
Hmm.
So like most people will get old shit,
Yeah.
but it's good shit.
Mm.
It's not like bad. It's just like that's
the point
that's
of
the
cheese.
regulation. That's the federal law here.
Yeah.
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 So you can't even get an aged cheddar. You know what I mean? Like,
It's not aged.
Yeah.
But that's what I meant. It's up to you. What do you want?
Mm.
What do you want? You can get
What-
fresh as shit and it won't taste like anything, or you can get
yeah.
I was like naming like a packet of chips, you know, like it's how you name it, it's how you sell it. You know,
Yeah.
like you can say just cheddar or tasty cheddar or
Yeah.
aged cheddar or
Yeah.
double cheddar. What the fuck's double cheddar? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but you just put an
It
extra
sounds-
$3 on. Is the plain cheddar? It's the same cheese.
I want some
Yeah.
double cheddar right now, bro. That sounds delicious.
let's get some double aged cheddar. You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But that's interesting actually. So there's no real like no one from the get go. I'm not saying from where it's imported from, but
Yeah.
like once it hits here, no one's really taking that cheese side of things really seriously.
No.
Or no, giving it respect it deserves. Really.
That's it. But it's been in a fucking cave.
Yeah, man.
Some of this stuff,
Yeah.
like we used to get, like the Beaufort and all that actual regional Comte and everything like that was, it was just in like a cave.
Yeah.
And then it came here and you went, 21 days. Like,
Yeah.
fuck
Yeah.
off, man.
And
that's
that's
so annoying.
That's why I
It's
dislike.
so annoying to
Yeah.
think about like how it came from.
That's why I don't
And then when
like
you
it.
meet the producers, and they fly here and they
Oh,
and they
man.
go, this is our cheese, and you're like,
Yeah, sorry, man. We failed you.
But even average people go and buy Parmesan or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And, all this stuff is getting thrown out. It's just like it's all disrespecting of produce. Like it still
So
had to
bad.
be. It still had to be Parmesan.
Yeah.
It
also
wasn't
these-
something. It
It's also
wasn't
these
cheap.
nice cows living in the Alps, just eating
Yeah.
really nice grass.
Yeah, that's
They're
right.
just chilled out cows.
I know.
And then you just treat them milk like shit.
Yeah.
Just the stamp comes down.
Yeah.
You see a bit of mold in your fridge, and you're like, "Oh, throw everything out," and then you go out for an aged ribeye, like a dry aged
Yeah.
ribeye, dude.
Oh, man.
You should see
Yeah.
how much you cut off that, bro. You
Yeah.
know?
Like, look, I always find those little bits of cheese because no one in my house likes to finish that last bit. There's like, it's almost like they're allergic to that last little, But that's like, you get 7 or 8 of those all together. There's your pasta. In
Yeah.
fact, that's what we had for dinner last night.
Yeah.
It's like mixed cheese pasta. Like,
Yeah.
just don't ask me what went in it because I don't know. But
Double cheese.
yeah, as long as you cook it, it's all good. The flavor's there. Kids
Yeah.
love it.
My kid's the same. She's like, ugh. When I take the block of it's a block of palmy, it just gets smaller
Yeah,
and smaller and smaller. And then she's just like, oh, it smells like. And then she just polished the bowl.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Yeah.
But it's like, yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind.
But
sort
it's
of
also
thing.
education. Like my kid will eat anything as long as you can explain what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
It's like, it
Well, you've
smells
got-
like this.
She's
but-
your right hand
Exactly.
gal, isn't she?
Yeah. So once you explain, okay, yeah, it smells like shit. You fucking ate it last night.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that the thing? You know what I mean?
Sort of get them thinking about it as
Yeah.
well a little bit more. It's not just
You don't
black
have to
or white.
like the smell, by the way.
Yeah,
Just eat it.
but you're going to enjoy what I do with it. sort of
Exactly,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, to be fair, like dairy right now is probably on par with meat, and it's almost catching up to seafood for what we're paying for it. So we can't afford to waste it, if you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
100 grams is $3 now, or $4. Well, you're going out buying $12 a kilo for your Colby or whatever, for 500 grams, sorry.
Yep.
It's $25 a kilo. So
Yeah.
you compare that with a nice piece of rump steak or something like that, and so we do need to be careful of that because that's the sort of money spinners that I see going into the drain, like, and yogurt. Like, I don't know what it is in my kids, but they get to that bit there, and it just sits there and it sits there and it
Just
sits.
wasted 10% of everything.
Oh man, I don't mind a bit of fizz on my wheat
Yeah,
bix.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
I'm like, get that yogurt on my wheat bix.
Yeah.
It's just passion
Yeah.
fruit. It's fermented.
It's fermented, dude, all day.
Yeah, exactly.
That absolutely changed my life when I figured out what fermenting actually was. Like
Yeah.
when you get into the nitty gritty of all of those things, you start
Yeah.
doing it yourself. Because
So
when I
good.
first saw you at Manuka, you were doing kefir on desserts.
Yep.
And I was like, I like this guy.
Yeah.
He
yeah.
gets it because no one was doing it. No one was even
The old
going in
coconut
that
one, yeah.
direction at all with any of that stuff. And then to put it on dessert was even better.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it? It's like buttermilk as well. Buttermilk's a classic example of fermentation. Like, you get like, we were doing like coconut kefir for a kingfish dish. And, I just think it's very similar to buttermilk, how it sort of breaks down enzymes, really
Yeah.
good for your gut, and that sort of thing. But flavor-wise, it's just got that little tang, at the end
Oh,
there.
it's delicious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lifts up, and so I thought that's pretty cool. It's not just like having sour cream or anything, where it's quite flat. Where this is just got a little bit more sort of life about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old kingfish. Those are the days of the old Geraldton kingfish, being farmed up there. Such a shame. It was doing such a good. Yeah, they were sort of around for about 4 or 5 years, and then I don't know. Just
I never even thought about that now.
yeah, it's so long ago now. About 5 years ago, I think they would have shut down. I reckon.
Yeah, I just haven't thought that that's not a thing, but I haven't seen it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, but to be fair, though, it's a hard one, isn't it? Sustainable
Yeah.
fishing, sort of, like breeding fish isn't really like, there's huge issues.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Like, just sort of, I found like raw was amazing. Cooked was just, it broke down. It didn't have that sort of, even though they're swimming around and doing their thing, they're not really hunters anymore. They just become just the chilled, sort of like chilled fish, just waiting for their food to come. And
Yeah.
I don't know. The flavor wise, I actually quite enjoyed the flavor, but cooking, it would just break down. Like, I remember we did these wings once for this table. They're telling us how they're from Melbourne and blah blah blah, and they were foodies and all that. So, all right, I got some wings for you guys. And they just came back and like, oh, devastated. And then I looked at it, and for the first time, that was when I realized, but they were cooked perfectly, and they drop.
Right.
Like the whole thing just turns to like this watery sort of.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, weird, eh? I
Yeah.
don't want to keep bagging them out or anything, but
It's just farm stuff, isn't it? At a certain
That is
point. But what else are we going to
interesting
do?
about. I mean, like you would have to work that muscle a lot to get it a little bit tougher.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the food that they're fed to isn't food. You know what I mean? Like food
Yeah.
pellets isn't.
Yeah.
That's not. That's it could be a supplement perhaps, but it's
Yeah.
not food. Like it's not what they were naturally supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
I think it gets a little bit even deeper than that. It's like, you know, the water that they're in. Like if you talk about fermentation, what I realized is like it's not just what we eat, it's all the enzymes and everything that comes along with what we eat that helps us break it down and be healthy human beings.
Yeah.
So if you're
Yeah.
farming all of these things and they aren't in like the enzyme water or in like, you know, clean waters or whatever, or they're using different temperatures as they like the whole thing. You've just got them in a tank essentially or
That's
an
true.
area.
Well, that's what happened in Tassie, wasn't it? With the salmon, was the water temperature dropped like by only like 1 degree, like
Yeah.
only 1 degree, which is, you know, in hindsight, it's a lot. But yeah, the fish couldn't handle it, and they all just
Yeah.
belly up, sort of thing. It's a
Because they'd have an opportunity to search for what they need. You know, they've got to go up or come
Yeah,
down.
or
or,
they just don't want the
Higher,
1 degree, and
lower.
they just find the 1 degree.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, a lot of them are seasonal like that. You know, the
Yeah.
summer months they go out deeper because the water's cooler,
yeah.
and vice versa. So
You think fish is fish, right? Like, you know,
Yeah.
the same people that are throwing everything out there, like, think fish is fish, but,
yeah,
you know, you're paying more for food when you go to a restaurant because they're searching out good stuff that's actually
Yeah.
way better for you and
Yeah.
it's going to make you healthier at the end of that. That's why I like
Yeah.
the kefir thing, man, because I got to a point where I was like, what do I want to do with food? And I was doing these like food shows and fermenting things and stuff. And I was like, I just want to like make people healthier
Yeah.
when I serve them food. So if you got a dessert and you've got like kefir ice cream at the end of it that's dairy free, how cool is that? That's actually got
Cuts
like
through.
something to it.
yeah. You finish up and you're putting a bit of digestion sort of back in.
Yeah. Rather
Yeah,
than
yeah.
getting, you know, and just like hammering someone with just like a sugar dense
Yeah, you just
dessert.
comb it
Ugh.
up.
And everyone
Yeah.
just like crawls out of your restaurant, you know?
Yeah, desserts are interesting like that, eh? Like you do have to sort of think about that balance. I always love fruit. Like I love fresh fruit. I love seasonal fruit with dessert. You know, it's that classic cream and fruit. But yeah, having that balance, like something like that, where you've got that extra layer again. That's why I like kimchi. Like, and I love all the varieties of kimchi you can get because I just feel like, man, not only is it going to clear your sinuses with the wicked chili hit, but it's
Yeah.
just leaves like it tastes amazing. It balances out a burger or something. But then like half an hour later, you're like, right, I could do this again. Like,
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
eat another one because I feel, you
Yeah.
don't feel
It's
like
weird,
it.
hey?
You're adding good
yeah.
bacteria. You're adding
Well,
digestion and
it
bacteria.
shouldn't, yeah, but it shouldn't be weird. It should be like how you eat.
Yeah,
It should be
correct.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe
Yeah.
it's
Now we can get like on this block. We can get anything we want,
Yes.
however
here we go.
disgusting, however healthy, however
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's there.
however you want. Water to craziness. Yeah.
Yeah, all the things that like you say, like it should be more accessible, but all those things are available, but all the good stuff isn't that accessible.
Yeah.
It's sort of like you have to kind of do it yourself.
Yeah.
And then I think that's where we sort of struggle the most, even at home. I try and do things when I've got time. I do as much as I can. In situations like now, I'm trying to open a restaurant. I probably become my own worst enemy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you tend to sort of like put yourself last, and it's
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden you're like, right, makeup time. Then you're like, you hammer it out again, and you do this and you do that, and you hand
Yeah.
out a few jars of this and a few
Yeah,
of this.
yeah.
And it's like sort of reconnect again, and then
Yeah.
sort of like that sort of process of like it's almost like hibernation, and then you come back out of it again, and you're like back into it.
I'm trying to get more passionate about my cooking and stuff this year. It's
Yep.
one of those things.
Yep.
Get back to it.
It's
Back
a
into
good
it.
one. It's a good one to have. I think home cooking is the best way to do that, isn't it?
Mm.
Rather than, most of my chefs, I don't want to say it, but it's true. Most of my chefs over the years, like, that even like you work for, you're cooking, but you're not tasting,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's kind of like, so you've just served all these people and they're fucking having a great time, they're enjoying it, but you haven't looked after you first. And that's sort of my thing I'm following in this year as well, exactly that. I want to do more things for me. I want to sort of make it, this is kind of what I'm trying to do here as well at Shirley's, but like, start doing more things for me. And I think it actually resonates more with people around you. And I think you'll actually be better received
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. But it's an interesting.
So then explain to us Shirley's, like the idea behind it, maybe a bit of the menu. What's happening here, dude?
Yeah, Shirley's this is an interesting one. I'm sort of it's named after Jodie's, my wife's grandmother, Shirley. So she's like, if you think of what Shirley sounds like. She is that person. Like,
Yeah, right.
She is the most lovely nana.
That's cool.
Yeah, really, really cool.
Yeah.
I love her to pieces. She's become, a big part of my life as well. Unfortunately for us, she moved away to Queensland at the start of about May last year, and we sort of like took this place on, and we were trying to be clever with names. You know, when you got this sort of like blank slate, like, let's be really fancy this time. Let's come up with a really sick name. And
That's like us trying to figure out our podcast name.
Yeah.
And then we just went, fuck it.
We went back to the
Yeah.
start. I think it was one of the start ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it just, when it hits, right? You just know. And you're like,
100%.
no crying in the coolroom. I mean,
I know.
It's like the most unpretentious name you can ever think of. And
But it's also, we came out to it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were like, well, we've got that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we went, this is it, dude.
It
People
wasn't-
kept, and also people kept saying it to us.
Yeah. It makes sense, resonated with me. As soon as I think you actually mentioned it to me before you'd even,
Back on the radio.
on the radio, and I was like, man, that's gold, because what you've just done is you've just stirred my like internal pot. Like, you've just brought up my bad memories, my good memories. I've been the receiver, the giver. Like that cool room holds a place.
But do you know what we got before we even launched it? We made all the channels, and we started to I started tagging on social media and no one gave us any shit, and then all of a sudden we got all this shit from all these Karens. Like,
you're right.
This is
right.
like this is abusive to hospo, but it's separated. But the hospo people were like, "Holy shit, this is awesome!"
Not even
exactly like you
hospitality.
exactly.
Yeah.
But it separated the hospo people.
Yeah.
Which it just meant like
Cemented it, I think, too, probably, right?
this is what I was about to say. Is it meant we're onto something?
I think so. I think we're all being
It's like
looking.
it's tongue in cheek. Like everyone knows what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people we want to know what it means. That's what we.
Well, that's what I thought was cool. What you said a couple of weeks ago was like, you've got kitchens now. Instead of turning on FM or putting on putting on some music, they're actually chucking on your podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
and like laughing at other people's misfortunes. And I think that's such a cynical way to be. And then I'm like, but that's us.
Yeah.
You're hitting.
Why do you want to listen to that?
No judgment
But like,
for
it's
it.
exactly what do you want to listen to? You're like, okay, so what I'm going through right now, someone's gone through before, or someone's actually gone through.
Like if we're talking about
it's not even
cut
laughing
chives
at people;
while
it's just
someone's
laughing at
cutting
us.
chives.
It's
Someone's
like
cutting
laughing at your own
chives.
self.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think it's great. Could you imagine? Like, I'd love for someone to send in like a photo or a video of them actually in the cool room listening to your podcast crying. You know what I mean? Like, chef's seen you and they're like, fuck you, chef. Where's my phone? And you're like, I've listened to this.
We need to send out stickers to like every restaurant. So if you catch someone, you can just hit a sticker on them.
I want it on every cool room ever.
Like Christopher Walken, you've got like, no crying in the cool room. Yeah, just on the outside or the inside as you walk in. Yeah, that's right. I think
for me, it invokes me walking in on someone else who was shuffling containers. Like I walked in and they started shuffling containers in the back corner.
Relabeling.
Because
but
they
you
were
just, you know to talk to them.
Yeah.
You just did the same. You were
You're both there for the reason.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Chef said he wanted parsley and I brought him coriander. Like, I don't know
and you
what
let
to
them
do.
go. You know what's happening over there, but
totally.
you're like, you just get to your business, get in, get out.
Everyone's
Let them
been there.
There's a
have
nod,
their
right?
moment.
Yeah.
Let them have it.
It's all right, bro. It's all right. Tomorrow's another day.
There is literally nothing need to be said.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
Or they know you're behind you, they don't even look at you.
Yeah.
And they don't say, like, what's wrong with you? No one ever says that shit.
That feeling, you know, the chef's there and you're like, I'm just going to build a wall between me and you right now. Like, Because if I turn around and make eye contact, I'm going to get another spray. Like, he's still not over this shit yet. Like, fuck. Keep cleaning.
Give me a spray when I'm okay.
Yeah.
So funny.
Oh man, it's like the old like Coco's. We used to have like a cool room and then like a meat cool room and a freezer. So even if there's 3 of you in there, like you could have your own space. You know what I mean? Like everyone was relabeling their own shit in there. Like FIFO, just rotating, guys, just rotating. You know? Oh,
It's so funny.
Oh my god, man! Like, but we do need those spaces, you know. Nothing better than walking into that core room. It's like a bit of a,
Just
reset.
a second.
Yeah.
Just a reshuffle and a second to hang.
So many reasons, hangover, whatever. You know, like walking that cool room, you're like, good. stock take time, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's always match up your hangover with the stock take, you know, like you can just go into the call room and just sit down on a crate.
Yeah.
Keep calling.
You always kind of knew on a day who to give the stock take to for that bit. You go, all right, just stock take, man.
Usually someone I didn't want to talk to.
Yeah,
to my hair.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's Monday and
you
it's
kind
too
of
many
need
questions.
the cool room for 45 minutes.
Yeah. No, I can't do that new dish because I don't want to go talk to that asshole in there. Like, all I want to do is get my fish out of there, and I'm not going to. Like,
no way. Not with that jerk.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, isn't it? Big restaurants, like I've always I've done a bit of both, you know, big restaurants, small restaurants, and that. But big restaurants are beasts, man. They're like little miniature, sort of civilizations, really.
Yeah.
And then this, you know, then we've got front of house and management and all that sort of stuff as well. It's like this hierarchy that it's pretty interesting. Sort of, I don't mind them. They have their place and all that sort of thing. But I do like things a little bit more sort of, you know, a bit more sort of personal, a bit more accountability.
Yeah. Well, you went to England and you worked for some big guys, right?
Yeah, I was at I went to Petrus when Marcus Waring was part owner with Gordon Ramsay. Since then he's only just closed it down over Christmas. Marcus Waring at the Berkeley, and that was good. That was like 30 chefs to feed 60 people, you know, sort of like 2 sittings sort of thing, and it was like that was pretty full on, man. And that was the chive incident. That was where the chives, you know, sort of my first day rocked up. It was quite interesting. I just left Australia. I'd been running kitchens for like probably the last maybe 3 years.
And you were 25, did you say?
25. I was sort of always organically came up to sort of top tier level, and I got to the point where I was always sort of like, you know, we didn't have Instagram, we didn't have you know, Google, whatever, for looking at recipes and that sort of thing. You literally had the 5 cookbooks that you had in front of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was and there was like struggle town. I was really struggling as a chef inside myself to lead exceptionally. I could do that side of things fine, but it was a creativity. So yeah, going to the UK was wicked. I loved it. It was sort of first time it sort of taught me about like regional produce and working and showing so much respect for every item on the menu. You know, a beetroot and truffle were treated exactly the same. You know, they're on the same dish together, so 100%. Of course they are. Yeah.
And so what about kitchen operations? Was that a shock as well? Like the regiment and the cleanliness and the
definitely
routine?
Amazing in the sense that like it was sort of first time like I realized like no one was leaving until the last job was done, you know. A lot of our kitchens prior to that were you know, that I worked under like chefs, it was like you do your section, go home. You know, like now it's like no, even though we had night porters and all that shit, it was like show respect. And you know, you'd walk out of there at 1 a.m. and then you're back there at 7 a.m. in the morning, and you know, 1 hour bus trip home, 1 hour bus trip back in. It's like loose, man. It was like, but you know, I did it just under 6 months, about 5.5 months. And it's funny, it's the only job I probably counted every day, because every day was essentially working 2 days in any other environment. So you know, almost about a year under my belt. And 5.5 months, you know. But
some of those ones are so impactful. Hey, like, you know, I talk about the press club pretty regularly, but it was a 5-month stint, and it was like one of the most impactful because of everything I did and learned.
I could relate to that.
And
definitely.
the upgrades and stuff that happened in that time period, and then even going to Neil Perry's afterwards. Like, some of those short ones give you the most training.
You
really
go there
quickly.
for a reason, don't you? I think you're there because you're there's been a hunger inside of you to sort of be, and when you do see it, it's like going, you know, you can imagine what Charlie was like going into Willy Wonka's, you know, fucking, you know, like, what the hell? This is, he's working with that. He's got that. Foie gras, what the hell? You know, I've never seen a white truffle before. This is amazing. You know, all these things. And then it's like, fucking hurry up. You know, so it was pretty cool.
Did you get an epic bollocking?
Look, no. I learned very quickly from my CDP. I went in as a commie, by the way. So I went from head chef and I went right down to the bottom. How it worked working for those guys was you actually just applied the head office, like HR, Gordon Ramsay HR, and then you just didn't know where you were going to go. Could have been Claridge's, could have been May's, could have been, you know, his flagship restaurant. There was heaps of them at the time. You know, and just really, every single one of the chefs that were running those kitchens were like Angela Hartnett, Mark Sargent, you know, Jason Atherton. There was like,
what is he doing, Mark?
Sargy.
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that one?
Mate, I feel sorry for that
you got
dude. He thought he got away with it for 20 years.
Was that it?
I don't know.
Go on then, you pompous fuck.
No, that wasn't
What's
it.
he doing, Mark?
You, as I'm now on a commie, and you, a fucking comic.
Nah, that's when Mark's fighting up.
Oh, I feel sorry for that guy. Like, he's probably like his psychologist has probably just finally finished 20 years worth of like,
Yeah. If
he's
and it's just
lucky.
like all PTSD. He's just
Yeah,
kicked back
dude.
in. Nah,
Yeah.
but he clearly, you can tell in 15 seconds that dude did not belong in that kitchen at all. Like, it's just feel sorry for him. Hey, have you seen that sort of the reruns coming up again?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought that was actually related to it. Like, yeah, the dude, it was back in aubergine days, and he was just like screaming. And like, he was like something about like wetting the bed. And it's like, I told you that in confidence, chef. And he's like, go back home. Don't set your fucking alarm and sleep in your own piss.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
like,
you can always tell, like, that's what I thought as well at the time, is because my training was just like, yeah, you can kind of see those people that would cop that.
Yeah.
You kind of,
Yeah.
okay, but like, it was never me. And it's, even if I tried, even if I was fucking up, I was never getting that.
No way.
So
no
like,
way.
I kind of knew that something's gone on. I mean, you're not there. There's no 16-hour tape of this fucking service, right? So that's what I always thought is just like, yo, there's a reason for this.
These are generally, I find.
But also, like, if you're fucking up in that environment, it's
Yeah.
the same environment. If you want to do well, it's the same shit.
No one wants to see like a dickhead come in and just fuck up everything they're working hard for. I generally found the guys that copped it the most, and I've saw Marcus do it a couple of times to some guys, and it was just lying. Don't lie. Like
Yeah.
a
That's
dude-
it.
Huge.
yeah, all it
That's
was.
it.
It was over a veal jus. Like, did you boil the jus? Yes, chef. Marcus is like, you didn't boil the jus.
Yeah.
Did you boil the jus? Yes, chef. I was like, all of us were just like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
And he just stood in this, Morat, the chef's name, he just stood in his face the whole service and just fucking basically mentally undressed this guy.
Yeah,
Broke
yeah.
him,
Just,
broke
yeah.
him down.
Yeah.
It's insane, like, because I can do that now. I can still do that.
Yeah.
I've never done it. I will never do it again.
Yeah.
But I know I can stand there and do that.
Yeah.
It actually scares me to think that I can do it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking. It doesn't matter what you're talking back to me. It actually helps me online
Yeah.
with social media comments because I'm so calm, and doesn't matter what you say to me. I'm not going to abuse you, but you're going to get abused, and it's going to be it's scary.
Yeah.
It's a scary thing in me,
It's like loading.
but I don't do it to other humans.
Yeah.
It's just like, if you're a non-name person.
Yeah.
And this is the job I sort of have, is handle accounts and things like that. So it's like, okay, well, you know,
It's we've
They're
talked
often
about
loaded.
it. The confidence
Did it-
that you have, that you've got this thing in your back pocket.
that's it. It's a confidence.
This kind of like
Hold on to that. Eh?
yeah.
this confrontation monster. But it's a
There is
calm.
nothing that
It's
can go
always
wrong.
there.
Well, he talks
Yeah.
about it. I
your
did it-
face?
I
That's
chefed my
nothing.
kid. Yeah,
Yeah.
my kid.
Nothing you can.
Because as soon as you stop,
feel.
I'm just going to drop my one-liner,
Yeah.
and you're fucked.
Yeah.
My
There's
granddad
nothing
was
you can
like
bring
that.
it to me.
My granddad was the best.
Yeah.
You know, like
Because my dad is the same.
Yeah, they just get
Yeah.
you one word, eh?
Yeah.
Or like, I remember like once I was like 14 years old, and I was just being kicked out of school. So I was like living with my grandparents at the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, Nana used to like smoke the old rollies. So I'd get up earlier than her in the morning, go like roll a cigarette and fucking like, she cottoned on. So she had her lighter. So I had those old stoves, those old electric ones with the element on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll, get down to light the cigarette. Smoke the cigarette outside, right? Went back to bed, and then I heard this fuck or something like that. And my nana had got up and put her hand down on this like hot element and like burned her hand. And, like,
shit.
and I remember just getting this wicked bollocking from her. And then I walked past granddad, he's still in bed. He's like, did you learn your lesson? And that was it, eh? It was like, it broke me more what he said. It was just like, no, I didn't learn my lesson.
Yeah.
But just his words were like, more. I mean, I remember to this day, like so impactful. Everything he said was said for a reason.
Yeah.
He didn't speak unless he needed to speak,
Yeah.
And when he spoke, those words just like, learned it, probably sort of took over the last 10 years a bit of knowledge from that. You know?
Yeah.
So you don't need to be fucking on. If you get to the point, you drive chefs down so much. your voice becomes a blah, 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 blah.
Totally.
It's just not even a
Just
thing.
be ignored even
It's
more.
It's a parenting thing as well.
Yes.
If you're complaining at your kids or your apprentices constantly, eventually they just it's noise to them.
Yeah, it's a snap, isn't it?
Whereas
They
if
go
you're
one
like-
way or the other.
Yeah.
They don't do what you want, though. You know, they either like flip the bird or they just go into themselves, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, or both.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Communicating, right? Communicating in kitchens is probably the biggest tool, I think.
But it's got to be. I was always. I don't know how I got it, but it was always. I was always very good at clear. What you wanted, clear, calm, loud communication. That's it. That's all they fucking wanted, and I was very quick to it, and that's why I got moved up very quickly and everywhere I worked. And it wasn't. I didn't mean to do it. It was just. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
calm with it. I mean, shit happened all the time, but like,
And
I was
probably
very
pretty
calm. Calling dockets,
self-critical.
I was just always very clear, calm.
I feel like
In
if
my
someone
head, I'm
came up
going,
to you,
fuck, oh, don't fuck this up, don't fuck this up, don't fuck this up.
In your head, you're the duck, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Uh,
I get
barely
that.
swimming,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but I
Nice.
could turn around and vocalize it for some reason.
Mate, legend CDP status, though. If
Yeah.
you can have that as a.
And then they just moved me up,
Yeah.
moved me up everywhere I went. But
Yeah.
it wasn't like I was trying. I always thought that I was the worst cunt.
It's
So-
interesting, but how other people like perceive you and how you
Yeah.
perceive yourself.
And
Always,
I hated
like-
everything I cooked, but I was always the best.
Yeah.
But that made me get better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Where did you start? Where was your first apprenticeship?
44 King Street here in the city.
40 with Kuma and
Yeah,
Blakey?
yeah. Well, that was just at the end of it.
Yep.
And then Ali came back, and basically they just circled through the same fucking people.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what we were saying before
Yeah.
about.
But also they had
you know,
mates
5 or
from
10.
London, so they would just. It would just be like a murderer's row all day.
Yeah,
You know who the fuck these people were, but they were just like,
machines.
yeah, but they would like show me how to do this. They would be in the shit. That's what made me respect my job, was they were in the shit and they would take the time out for a first year and say, this is how you do it. Are you fucking listening? They would show you perfectly. They would make you do it in front of them. And if you didn't do it right, they would show you again and then go for it.
Yeah.
Like it was, and you need to do this right. And you knew you fucking need to do this right. But it was
Yeah.
like, it wasn't a threat. It was like, I would take the, and you knew they were burning shit. Or
But they've taken that
in
time
my head,
out.
they were burning shit. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
knew they had 2 minutes, 1
Yeah,
minute,
yeah.
30
Yeah,
seconds, whatever.
They've got everything
But in my
sorted.
head, I'm like, fuck, it's chaos out there. But they still took the time. And that's where I've learned. I think that's where I've learned that.
Great place to start off.
Yeah, dude. And the
Fantastic.
menu changed. We've talked about this a load, but the menu changed. Half the menu changed every week.
Yeah,
It's the perfect environment
Yeah.
to learn cooking.
like a
But
sponge.
it would kick so many people out the door. If you hung around, that was all they wanted. Like just you
Yeah.
wanted to be there. You actually cared about cooking. That meant
Yeah, the longevity.
in hindsight. This is
Amazing,
like
eh?
fucking 8 years on. I realised
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
but-
like, how many
yeah.
You're
people
just stubborn
would've
when
gone
you're a
for
kid.
that?
At the time, I'm like, I'm better than you. I can be better than you. I want to be good.
That's a big part of the game as well.
But
the,
other people
the ego.
just went, fuck this.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's that rule of thumb in it, like the old, commie wants to be the CDP wants to be the Sue. The Sue will fucking sink the head chef to make himself look better.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
And it's sort of like, but yeah, I think there's always that sort of hunger, and hunger's good. Hunger's
Yeah.
good when you're in your 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
You're still coming out of that night, but I think it's like,
I'm sorry
it's,
about
it's sort of like a little bit, yeah.
Are you saying that
I'm
I'm young, Kenny? Is that
Oh,
what you're
yeah,
saying?
no, I think you've still got a few more years. No, but
thanks,
it's,
buddy.
But it's yeah,
I'm getting
it's,
head chef right now.
that.
That's-
yeah.
You're a couple of years
Yeah.
for young Kenny. Yeah.
I just think like, but you got to have that. You got to have that fight. You have to turn up and have
Yeah.
that fight in you.
Yeah.
I don't so much anymore because I know how to do my job, and I just don't have. My kids have already battered it out of me before I come to work.
With the yogurt?
Yeah, with the yogurt. Who ate the fucking yogurt again? But it's like,
Why'd you leave this gorgeous fizzy yogurt?
yeah, you ate the new one.
Yeah.
I've been aging this one for 3 weeks for you.
Kenny's just eating off food.
Yeah, and I'll put a bit of like oatmeal and wheat bix around the
Dad's,
edge. just to, like-
dying again, yeah.
Oh man, it's I hate actually probably the worst thing in my life is opening out my fridge. It's like I look at it and go, I know I'm better than this, and this is what I get paid to do. Shut the door.
Yeah.
Go to the cupboard instead, where everything lasts a year or more. Like oh yeah, look at this
Cereal.
Yeah,
I
All
can't
day.
stand things in my fridge
yeah.
like that. But then sometimes I can't do anything about it. And yeah.
You just
But
gotta go.
it's the same feeling.
All I do
Yeah.
is
It's
just
like, dude, that was in there yesterday. But and then you put on, then I put on myself.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
should have
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
done something with it.
You're like, no one's
Yeah.
watching. All right,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I just clean fridges and eat food that other people aren't going to eat. That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's my whole life.
That's a good
Just
way of
make
looking at
staff
it.
meals. Yeah.
Yeah, for myself.
Yeah.
One person staff meals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From anything.
What do we
to-
got for staffies? Yeah.
What do I need to throw out? All right, that's mine. I'll take it.
So you just got to find one item, put it in there that your kids won't eat, and you're like, it's all yours anyway. Like, it's like sick. This is pretty, like the Dijon mustard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just eating tubs of Dijon.
yeah. Put it on everything,
Pepper
man.
sauce.
Oh, what was it? Honey mustard was the big thing for a long time, wasn't it? The old Dijon, shallots, honey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that would be a, yeah. Bring back that sort of stuff. Eh?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't beat it with a bit of old cheese, you know. So, but yeah, no, it's
So
an
what are you going to
interesting-
do here? What's the
Oh, yeah, we did start talking about.
Oh, I haven't
even
food.
talked
about it.
Fucking, yeah.
So Shirley, yeah,
Like you got to,
Shirley's-
because you've got an amazing restaurant as it is. What are you
Yeah.
going to do menu-wise to change it up for
counteract
yourself?
it. Well, when this place came available, I've always loved this space anyway. And so we're looking at something a bit more sort of like snack orientated. Manuka's full of shared dishes, large, big dishes, and you can't really sort of escape that. It is what it is, and it works really well for Manuka. It's designed around cooking out of one oven. Whereas here we've got a wood grill. So beautiful, like aged steaks, that sort of thing. I think Fremantle's got a couple of good steak places, but I really want to sort of, elevate that a little bit.
Yeah, cool.
A bit more baking. I love baking. I don't get to, I'm limited. I can always bake out of a wood oven, no issue at all, but it's time restraints. Like there's only a certain period of the day that you can use that oven
Totally,
to bake.
yeah.
It's not like, and generally it's sort of like everything else has to be cooked first, and then probably about an hour and a half or 2 hours before service, you stop putting wood on, and
Yeah.
you can, but then you put 12 items in, and one of them's always going to be lost to the fire gods. Something's always. So I'm looking forward to just putting something in an oven and cooking consistently, and
Yeah.
getting that
And really dialing that in, right?
Yeah, that's
Like,
right.
do you go to some of the lovely bakeries around here sometimes and just go, if I just had a fucking oven, bro,
Oh man,
I
like
could dial this in.
I love bakeries. Hey, I growing up in New Zealand, man, like bakeries were the epitome of fine dining where I grew up. You know what I mean? Like you went there and it was the bee's knees. Like custard tarts,
Yeah.
custard. I've got to put a vanilla slice on.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like an actual proper, but no gimmicks, man. Like it doesn't need to. I just don't want. I want proper, 2 layers of puff, great custard, just a proper sugar glaze on top.
Yeah.
Not even coconut, nothing. Like
Yeah,
but
yeah.
done fresh. I've really had this infatuation lately of doing like scallop mornay pies, like little party pies, smoked fish. So like carwai or ocean salmon, it's called over here. Cure it,
Oh,
sugar
fuck
and
yeah.
salt, smoke it, make a bechamel, parsley, shallots. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
load that in a pie.
Yeah.
Nice cold beer. So yeah, sort of
So
things
people
like
are
that.
coming for drinking,
Yeah, definitely.
drinking and eating.
Drinking and eating. I want it to be sort of like the menu's a bit more sort of snack orientated, more for the individual. So, come in on your own or come in as a group, whatever. But you're going to come in your own. You're going to be well looked after. I kind of want to make it so if you want to just come and have a quick beer and a snack, great. Spend 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But if you want to come in and you can order everything off the menu. There'll be a lot of things, we're going to be using our similar producers like Manuka, like Bathgate Farm is always at the top of my list. So there's always going to be, I'm trying to keep that separation. I'm trying to have like not one single item from Manuka brought over here.
Yeah. Okay.
It's quite easy to achieve, to be fair.
Yeah.
We don't have 40 items on our menu.
Yeah.
So, I'm definitely excited about that. I've got a trifle going on. It's a bit of an homage to working at Walter's Wine Bar in Melbourne. Walter Burke, it was his dish. It was his particular dish was an apricot and sauterne trifle, and it was just like sauterne cake with like yogurt and like sliced it and cream patisserie, apricot compote, and flaked
Cool.
almonds. He just scooped it out, put it in a martini glass, and that was it. And I'm kind of like going to do something. I kind of want to pay respects to my old chefs.
Yeah.
I just sent my first head chef, John Bayer. He had this little restaurant called Stanmore Cottage where I first worked, my first job. And man, he was doing cool shit. Like he was making beef Wellingtons from scratch. I think my first job was to actually make Cajun spice, but not just take it out of a packet. It was here's your 7 ingredients, and we're going to make Cajun spice. So I've got these things like mussel fritters. I send them all these photos, like, because I wrote everything down, like we're talking about the notepad.
Yeah.
And then one book got like wet, so I rewrote every single recipe into another book, you know.
Wow.
And I still don't have the patience to sit in front of a computer and type that shit up, you know.
Yeah.
But
you got these things around.
Yeah, they're all there.
God.
So all these recipes are already there, you know.
My
like
notepads are so fucked.
Oh,
you should see them,
man.
but I love them. They're like trophies.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I like the 3-page sticker, you know, like there's 3 of them in there.
They're
and you're
so
like,
fucked.
what's inside that?
Yeah, and I
which
kind of want to
recipe?
draw them out at some point. Like I haven't been through them all the way.
Yeah.
I kind of want to like make sure they're all right.
Like the
That's
old
cool.
lemon juice and paper, you know, we used to like put them up to the light and like secret messages. You're like, is that half a cup or a whole cup?
I kind of want to see what I've written in them too, because like half the stuff I wouldn't even remember.
Yeah.
I reckon.
It's pretty cool when you look back.
Yeah.
Because you actually like think, oh, okay, look at food trends back then. Yeah, look, food was pretty shit. But then you look back at your recipes and you're like, man, I didn't realize that I was actually making roasted garlic aioli like 10 years before it became popular, or, you know, capsicum oil. You know, we were like saying about the beef Wellington, we're doing salmon gravlax, we're working with daikon and turnips and stuff. I'm like, man, I don't think for another 20 years of my career did I ever touch another one of those ingredients, you know. It's just bizarre that this guy who's from Germany originally, but Kiwi is, mate, he looked like Steven Seagal, like ponytail. He was doing Tai Chi in a big way and just like fucking cool. You know, one of these guys, I hated my dad. My dad was an arsehole, and this was the first guy sort of I walked into and just went, you know, I think I love you. You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
Gravitated to him,
That's actually
that's crazy.
A bit of a philosophy I think we've kind of had is like one of your original first chefs was like a mentor in some way or impactful
in your life
for a lot of chefs that stick with it for 15 years.
Yeah, man. I think the words that came out of their mouth probably cut me up more than any family member. You know what I mean? Like when I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. Far out, man. That's a week. That's a week.
Especially coming from Steven Seagal when he's like doing some fucking Tai Chi.
Oh,
I'm
man.
just so disappointed in you.
He was. I remember like he went away for a week. I was only like 16 at the time. I just turned 16. So I was 15 when I first started with him. No, I was actually just before I was 15. I was like, and so I was either 15 or 16 and he went to Thailand for a week and he was happy enough. He had another chef coming in, but I was essentially running it, you know. And then he came back and there's a couple of things that weren't right. And I just, man, I remember one of the wait staff just saying, look, he's just upset. He's had a few issues in his personal life. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I feel like I've just like let him down.
What did you do?
I don't know. Look, I probably like at that age probably was just poor rotation on a couple of sauces or something like that. It wasn't even like, but he came back pissed off. So he was already pissed off before he walked through the door, and it was like, can of worms. Here we go. But
hard at 16 years old to hold the fort.
Couldn't get over it though. I actually had to I was like, no, we're done. And my house got broken into at the same time, who I found out were like what I thought were friends of mine, you know, like good old Auckland. And it's so it was just like, no, we'll refresh. But that's from there I went down to work at
so that was the end.
Yeah.
He was pissed. Yeah. You felt disappointed.
Yeah.
And
that was it. Just gutted. I think we were both gutted. It took me about 20 years, and I went back when my little one was about sort of two years old, and got to meet him again. It was like wicked. I just felt like it was this, you know. So we've connected ever since. It was no bad blood. I was just dealing with a lot of shit in my life that really. I was getting used to sort of being rejected, I guess, by family members, and then this and that. But that's where I think kitchen for me was my sanctuary.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And it still is. It's not was, it still is. It's
I love, like, we've talked about this too, as like everything. But I find the people I've thought of annoyed are still your mates just as much as your other bloke. Like everyone. Yeah. It's like a brotherhood or a sisterhood. It's like everything. It's like, you're all in the same boat, man.
You're allowed to get pissed off at each other. You are allowed to.
Yeah, but that happens like most days to a point, right? There's levels, but it's like, I don't know. There were some people I thought were a bit more.
Yeah.
And then they turned out to be absolutely nothing at all. Like, you didn't think about it.
I see what you're saying.
And I met them later. It's exactly the same thing. It was like, hey, man, like, you're best mates. You're like, And it's not fake. It's like you've been through the same shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found
don't
it
stop
hard
thinking
with
about it, mate.
Yeah.
I found it hard with normal people.
But it's not like I thought about it.
Because
a
like
lot.
if you
it's just like,
There.
how would I meet them again?
yeah.
And you're like, nothing. They're thinking the problem. Maybe they're thinking the same thing. Yeah.
If you have a little standoff situation with like a person that hasn't been in hospitality, this is what I found hard coming out of it. That's the end of your relationship. That person hates you. You've been an asshole to them, you know.
Yeah.
But I come from
Mum hates you.
from my entire adulthood of like having a disagreement with someone or saying something bad to someone and them saying something to you. You don't even aggressive. You're like, dude, that was shit or whatever.
Yeah.
Being critical. And then you just get on with your day. You're like, thanks for the information.
Yeah.
And you move on, or
Service is service.
you're pissed at each other.
You wake up the next day and nothing's happened.
Even
Yeah.
at the pub
Start a
afterwards, you
shift.
get,
Hey,
you
man.
get some drinks
Yeah.
happening and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, fuck you, dude. You know,
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah.
Whatever. And it's like a little bit heated. But then the next day, there's no difference. You're both human beings again, and it's...
Yeah, but you know why? It's
move
because
on.
you've actually addressed it. There's no other way to exist in the kitchen other to address what the fuck you're both doing
yeah. But
to
I felt like
each
in-
other or to a docket or
In normal
to the
society-
fish or to
Yeah.
the, there's no other way. Like stop, start, fuck,
But
like
people aren't addressing things in normal society, you know?
that's exactly
they're
what I
being
mean.
nice
That's
to each
that's
other
the
and not-
disconnect. Is like we can say
Yeah.
the way we talk to each other is insanity. Sometimes I think I'm being so rude, and I'll still comment. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be,
Yeah,
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, there's more. I've got more than this.
Yeah.
I think that's why I feel more comfortable with chef people.
Yeah.
Still now, is because you can be a little bit straight. You're like,
Or just even just hospo, like even like
I'm gonna be there at
baristas get
11:30.
fucking nailed by customers.
Yeah.
All they want is like a bit of whatever. You know, they would
of
love a bit
attention.
of fucking elbow or
Yeah.
while you're walking past. or
Straight
something.
communication.
High five.
Just a bit of communication that's not.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you? Yeah.
yeah. Being overly nice makes me feel weird,
Oh, so weird.
you know?
Just-
Like, you know when you go to like social parties and stuff and there's those few character types that are like overly nice to everybody.
Yeah, man.
I gravitate
Just
away
fake.
from them
as
immediately.
fuck, eh?
You look at
Yeah.
him and go, no, that guy.
But
Yeah,
maybe they think
Yeah.
that they're not fake. Maybe they just that's how they want to approach.
They're like
social.
a balloon, though, right? They can only stay that big for so long.
Yeah,
It's true.
totally.
You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah,
not,
but this is our personality
Yeah,
every day,
yeah.
all day.
Yeah.
I mean, like obviously, not. I mean, depending if you're talking to family or whatever. But that's it. This is you.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, how are-" you're like, stop,
Yeah.
And
reset.
I'll stand there. I'll
You
stand there
should
quiet.
just make them walk around the block. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
And then I'll ring the doorbell again.
I don't work for you. I don't care. Take a walk.
Take a walk.
Yeah.
And I'll
You
when you're
look-
back, knock on
yeah.
the door, ring the
Yeah.
doorbell
You're
again.
looking like a
and
balloon
just
Don't do
right
that
now.
again.
and just let me in.
Yeah. Yeah. Do not ever handshake me like that again. Yeah.
Sorry, I was being a bit of a balloon. I just went for a walk. I feel better right now.
I did this one. I meant to mention this the other day. I did this one at New Year's, and I actually, for the first time in my life, offered to help with the barbecue. And I never want to do it because people always ask me. And I'm just in the zone where I was like, it's like he looked like he was in the shit. So I was like, hey, bro, do you want to help? Do you want a hand? He knows what I can do, whatever. So I was like, do you want a hand? And he was like, no, what I've got going on is, and then I immediately regretted it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't care
Yeah.
what you're about to say.
Yeah.
It's either a yes or no,
Yeah.
and I'm in.
You've already spent more time talking to me than looking after
Yeah,
that.
you're burning the shit,
Yeah.
trying to explain what you've got going in your house and the barbecue outside.
Oh,
just
man, I
just
get
say, turn the snags. Can you check on this? And then I went, this is why I don't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're always doing the dishes anyway.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, we're always
yeah.
going to end up being the guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I agree. I stay away. But I hate it, though. Like, there'll be a group of you, like 10 of you or whatever, and then, someone's cooked something, and then you're all just starting it. Hey, Kenny, what do you think of
dude,
John's
stop.
new fandangled chili sauce? And we're like, do you really need can I just
Yeah.
for one, if I talk right now, I'm a really bad sprayer when I eat. So everyone's looking at me. I don't, you're on the spot and you're like, man, I don't really, it's pretty all right. It's all right. Oh, just all right. He's used
Yeah.
organic chilies.
There's
and this
nothing
and that.
right you can say, I don't think.
Nah.
You have to give him a massive lie about how this is the best thing in life.
Yeah.
But you can't do that.
Anything other than that,
Yeah.
anything lower than that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
slight.
There's all
And
those.
you- yeah.
There's all those mentor
Heartbroken.
chefs
Yeah.
behind you, like telling
It's
the
like,
fucking
yeah, but-
truth,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
You know, I'm fucking
Don't
hungry.
lie to this
I've
guy.
eaten a mac and cheeseburger before. This is all right.
Yeah. Look, am I eating it? Great. Am I going to show my respects? Yes.
Yeah.
I've had people like you can like side eye you actually eat it. and you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
That's what and then you start getting in your head like, are people actually looking at me? And then you're like, yeah, they are.
Yeah, but they must
totally
be.
are.
Dude,
Can you
like,
imagine?
every restaurant this guy goes
I was
into.
just going to say that. I was just going to say that.
Dude, I've had,
They're
okay.
They would go to Manuka just to like hang out
Dude.
with your wife. These fucking dudes around the corner. Just,
So
does he like the fish wings? Holy shit!
my daughter clocks
How the
it
olives?
so early. She'll go, this guy.
Yeah, she
And
knows.
I'm like, what? Because I'm just a retard. So I'm like, I'll just order something, whatever.
You're in your world.
Yeah.
You're in your zone. This is
Yeah, and then
your-
we have a chat, and then
Yeah.
you can see Lily go, this guy right here, he's been, because she's only 12, so she just points at no filter, which is perfect, by the way.
Yeah,
Like for a kid, like fucking no, yeah.
straight up.
And then you just get just loaded fries at the table or something, and
Yeah.
you're like, I
Didn't
don't think
order
it's for
those.
us, but now I know, and you're like, thanks, but I'm not sure I could eat them. Like it puts you in a spot.
yeah.
It's my doing.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about this. This
No,
is
it's not a complaint.
massive first world issues.
It's an occupational hazard.
Yeah, but it's like,
Yeah.
but you are right. This is like, where's the? I don't know where the line is here.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I like
Yeah.
I like the fact your daughter does that because like it's like when you interview someone,
gotta
you
keep
always
her
have
fucking-
two people. One person to make the content, one person to watch their body language. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And she's doing that.
Yeah.
She's keeping them in check for you.
Yeah.
She might not even realize she's doing it.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, sort of who they're going to be more scared of now. I'll be more
Yeah.
worried about your daughter than
totally.
But you, yeah.
I like the way she does it too, because she doesn't give a single fuck about me, which
Yeah.
is perfect.
Yeah.
Which like
Good.
perfect.
Good.
Yeah.
There for herself.
Yeah.
But it's interesting going out, isn't it? It
Yeah.
is a hazard. I'm really bad for like, if I know people stop telling me they're coming in because if I know you're coming in, I'm just going to smash you. Like but because we want to please you, right? That's
Yeah.
what we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, when the tables turn, and I'm like, I get scared now. Like when I get a menu, I'm like, do I order what I think is going to be enough? But if they stitch me and send out a couple more dishes, it's going to fuck me.
Yeah.
Or do I order less? And then I'm like, maybe I should order another dish now. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's kind of weird. Going out
Go
can be a
in,
bit weird sometimes.
Go up to the kitchen, pay your respects.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then now they know.
yeah.
That's what you should do.
And just leave it at that.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
just like,
Don't
dude,
like
I
that.
can't be bothered ordering. Can you just
True.
do the thing?
And
You
you're always
know?
gonna, I agree with that. I enjoy that, and I like that's like sometimes, probably actually 90% of the time, every time you see your mates anyway, one of you is
Exactly.
at the pass.
Yeah.
At all
Yeah,
times.
But that's what normally happens. That's what I think should happen.
Mm.
Is because I don't actually care what I eat.
Yeah.
As
no,
long as
me
it's
neither.
cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'll eat anything. My daughter eats everything, thankfully.
Yeah.
However, we've done that. Fucking cool.
Mm.
And my wife the same. So
Yeah,
that's
good.
cool. But I like that acknowledgement of like, if you're going to do it, do it.
Yeah.
And we'll pay for it, whatever. But it's like, don't stitch. It's a weird stitch up where like everyone's kind of being secretive
You
about.
almost need a contract. Just want to know where I stand. You know.
Yeah, but sometimes it's just lunch and I'm not really hungry anyway.
No.
And then you're like, what are you putting me in?
And I
I'm
love
not-
it. It's,
but I'm not I don't record my whole life, even though if it looks like it, I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't
but
record
it does have
everything I'm doing.
It does
It's
have
fucking
implications now, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's,
retarded.
it's
But it's my fault. I
well,
get that.
it's so big now
Yeah.
that it's got a nice implication, right? Like it's cool.
Yeah,
It's very cool.
yeah.
it's good
But
too, it is.
like 99% of my life is fucking awesome now. But it's not what I've done, and I think it comes across as cool.
Awesome and burgers.
Yeah,
awesome
and we get
burgers
to do
and-
cool shit like this.
Loaded
Yeah,
fries.
Talk
I
to
agree.
cool people that we want to talk to,
Yeah.
and yeah,
it's only just sort of starting to come into fruition
yeah.
for you. But I mean, like your content's awesome. Like you know
Yeah.
what I mean. Like it's kind of
But
like
that's come.
we was saying that.
That's come from like trying and failing.
Yep.
But that's it. That we call it like a chef mentality. But like I think what we were talking about before is like what comes first, the chicken or the egg. Like were you made for this, or did you learn this, or whatever, or a bit of both? I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah,
Where
you
I've
can
learned.
get it.
I've learned that you can fail, and
Yeah.
let's strive to perfection.
Failing
That's
forward.
huge.
Because
Yeah.
if I look at something I did last week, I'll go, shit, I can do that better.
Yeah.
And I'm on
Every
myself.
single
And
time.
I'm on
Yeah.
myself. And
Yeah.
it doesn't mean content, doesn't mean even this, what we're doing right now. If I look at something we did the last
You're gonna
month,
judge
we're
it.
doing it way better now already, right?
It's growth,
Yeah.
right? I think as
Yeah.
humans, we're really good at like adapting and growing. We're always like, every single day we wake up, we're always sort of growing. So very easy to, when you take enjoying something, I think it's very easy for something to, you know, like you're going to surpass your expectations eventually.
Yeah, you have to enjoy it.
Yeah, you do have to enjoy it. You know, it's and unfortunately, we are always our biggest critic.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we can all. I don't know when I'm going to stop not being my biggest critic.
I've still got it now.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing. It's like going into filmmaking and something else.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to be more mindful of enjoying what I'm doing while I'm doing it and being critical.
Yeah.
Because I feel like my chef career, I was just blatantly critical a lot of the time. If I look back, like I enjoyed my entire time. I traveled the world and had a great time, but I feel like in kitchens a lot of time I was like, fuck, you know, like this isn't good, that isn't good, this isn't good, I don't like that, I don't like this, I don't like that.
Yeah, but it's trying to choose what's what the right thing to be critical of is at the one time.
But
like
enjoying
by
it.
the way, you can be critical of everything.
Yeah.
And you might be right.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some
Having-
things I
having
go, I can
something's
fix
good.
that today.
Critical's
Let's
good.
leave that for 2
I mean,
weeks.
especially in cooking, you always
100%.
want to be doing something new, right?
Yeah.
And something, but enjoying it and being critical at the same time is something I'm trying to be better at these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoying definitely.
I don't think it'll ever leave me either.
No, I don't think it does.
But it's interesting. Like, say, like for example, you come up with a recipe and you critique it, but like, and then you know we go through all these processes. But then you pass that knowledge on to another chef, and they make it exactly how you want it, and you taste it, and it tastes fucking good.
Yeah.
Then you're like, hang on a second, just chill on yourself. Like, you've given this person the tool and the ingredients and the recipe and everything to make something, and it's amazing. And you know, the chef's done it exactly right. The customers are loving it. At what point are we able to just give ourselves a little bit of relief? You know, just like a little bit of a, you know,
good job.
That was good. Yeah, good job. We're not good at doing that, are we?
No,
we're not
not
good
at
at it, but we should be.
Yeah.
You know, my biggest mantra, well, I hate the word mantra, my biggest sort of, philosophy, and it was actually Jody that my wife said it to me a couple of years ago, and it's something I've taken more seriously, is like, never accept criticism from somebody if you won't ask their advice. And I thought to myself, fuck, that's the biggest thing. Like, I was
100%.
accepting criticism from every angle, and it wasn't even like big criticisms, but they were criticisms. And I was like, but now I'm like, hang on a second, like, if I know I've put in 100% and I've done this and they've done this and they've done 100%, the customer's not happy or someone's not happy. It's like, but you know, I'm not going to sit at the table and then ask them for knowledge or anything like that. Like, you know,
or their recipe.
That's a really, really, really good way of explaining that.
It was huge.
Because I've tried to explain that myself.
Yeah, it's huge. It came at a
Because it's come to me too, and I'm just like, can you not do it? But I do it in like a layman's terms, like, fuck you, I can do this. I can do what you do. Can you do what I do?
Yeah.
That's my...
Yeah.
It's more of like a...
You got to have something to
annoyance?
sort of stand up for, right?
What was that again? What's that again?
Never accept criticism from somebody if you wouldn't ask their advice.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, so if you're not going to... if you, basically, like they say...
That's not even a hate thing.
A billionaire will never put you down. But someone that earns less than money than you is always going to put you down.
Yeah.
You know, it's like...
Yeah, and it's like...
different terms,
you
same
wanna,
sort of...
Yeah, but it's a very good way.
You
a
want to
very
be
short way of... a good way of explaining it.
Yeah, listen
That's
to your
cool.
mentors and only take criticism from them.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think that's the best way, because, I have to tell myself these things. It's not me. I'm not preaching it. I'm only talking about it out loud to you guys, but like, I don't preach it to my staff. I preach it to myself, because those times I'm feeling a little bit like, oh, you know, there was this or that or blah, blah, blah. But I think at Manuka, I've been fortunate enough to, those times are very, very far and few between.
Of course, yeah.
Very far and few between. So, and look, there are times where I've had to accept it and go, you know what, actually, fuck it. Like, I probably could have done this, or I could have changed that, or the balance was out, or so I have to accept that. That's fine.
Yeah, but you want, like, in hospitality, you want the customers to have a good time. Like, we like, it hurts when they don't have a good time.
It actually does. Yeah.
Actually, do you know what it's like? It's very much like stand-up comedy, where like you don't want to go and do a stand-up show and go, fuck this audience, they don't know what's funny.
Yeah.
That's incredibly rude. But you also don't want to take on all of their criticism, because you're getting better at something, or you're improving a joke, or you're trying to do something. You know?
have to absorb some
So
of
it's
it,
like
right?
a balance of like, I am confident in what I'm doing, and I accept what you're laughing or not laughing
find
at.
out what the consumer actually finds interesting.
Because you want to, so your customer's going to go, oh man, I didn't have a good time tonight. You want to read that, and you probably want to go, oh, okay, there's some things here that maybe we can improve.
Yeah.
But also, fuck that guy. I'm crushing it.
That's funny. That's just like testing a menu out on the public.
Yeah,
right.
I've always said that comedy and chefing
blindly
is
testing a menu out in the public, right?
They're so similar in a lot of aspects,
but
a lot
it's
of mental aspects.
For that.
But you're doing it with specials all the time and stuff, man. You're like crunching a special. You maybe haven't tasted everything. You're like, I think this is going to work.
Yeah.
And then you throw it out to a few people and they go, dude, that was fucking phenomenal. And the rush that you get from that is like,
yeah.
It's very much like telling a joke.
Yeah, definitely been, both sides of that coin, you know, doing your special, like doing something in haste or whatever, and you're like, it just didn't work the way I wanted it, you know, then you're like, I failed the whole dining room, and, you know, you just want to walk out there and just apologize to everyone, and you're like, actually, it wasn't that bad, it's okay, it's cool, calm down, mate, calm down, the sun will come up tomorrow, and it's like, you know, but that's the sort of, I think we are coming out of a time where, like, I think for the last 10 years with all this hyped up, you know, everyone's a master chef now, and I kind of feel like we've kind of gone back to that sort of simple time again, where people just genuinely want to go out to A, be fed, and two, just to forget, you know, B, just forget about their life for just a little bit.
Yeah, be looked after.
Yeah, man.
I think
old school hospitality. Be looked after.
Yeah.
Why not? We deserve it. Like we all work our asses off. So like going out for dinner or going out to a movie or going to watch some sport or whatever, like those are all things that we need for us to recharge our batteries and to, you know, nothing worse than, you know, you go out and you do that and it's not how you envisioned it, you know, you come away going, man, I really wanted to enjoy that, you know, and I just, you know, don't want to say anything, so I'm not, but you know, it's kind of interesting. But then it's just like, I don't know, for me personally, maybe it's my age, maybe it's because I've got kids, I just don't get out as much. I probably enjoy more just cooking for the people around me now more, and just, you know, just sort of that time.
Yeah.
Trying to absorb that time. Yeah. So important, eh?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking for, I think it's just, as I say, it's my youngest one's nearly 3. Man, we, you know, sort of, we just got a taste of going out to eat dinner, and we had another kid, and we're like,
damn it.
5 more years. And it's like, don't ask me where to eat, man, because honestly, like I can.
It'd be good 5 years home.
Yeah. I can tell you where all my moldy cheese is. I know exactly where that is in the fridge. Yeah.
Don't look at it, just eat it.
But yeah, going out for dinner now is quite scary. Now I've got around the corner from me, there's a little Chinese restaurant. It's not even, it's a hole in the wall. They've been there for about 20 years, man. I reckon, like, if you looked at my FPOS receipts, it's like Bunnings, and it's like Chinese in, and like, then it's like Chinese, and then it's like Bunnings, and it's like there's just a cycle of the two. Like, she has sustained me. Her and her husband have sustained me the whole time I've been here. Eh? I've ventured out.
So good.
I've cheated on them a little bit, and I've ventured out. I'm like, man, this is why you don't cheat on people. It's never as good. Like, and then you're like, fucking, like, just go back to her again. She's like, she knows, like, where were you? Where were you last night?
That's good, yeah.
I love
Instagram.
it. Man, wicked, just satay chicken, done. I think it's the cool stuff, eh?
Do you fellas mind if we have a break? We can come back and do more, but
yeah,
toilet break.
Yeah,
cool.
Swap over.